Hey you guys, this is Jeff, Bookhouse Boy. It's been a long time. It's been, what do they say? It's been a minute. I don't know. It's been a year probably or more. I won't go into the whole long story and bore you to sobs, but yeah, bottom line, I was working out of the country for a lot of 2019 and then I worked out of the country for most of 2020. I'm back now, which is great. Horrible being away from home for so long. But one of the interesting things is that it in no way hampered my book buying, which was almost completely remote, by which I mean I just bought books and shipped them home, knowing I wouldn't get to read them for a while. The end result of that is that I bought an inordinate amount of books, and I have what I'm guessing will be maybe 4 book hauls. So this is part 1, and maybe 5. It's going to be 5 book hauls, I think. Yeah, it's horrible. But so this is book haul part 1. I sadly. I in my head I know what I ordered. I don't have any idea what I ordered actually. There's probably a couple of titles that I remember ordering. I don't know the quantity of books that I have to unbox for you guys, but it's a lot. It's yeah, I was just going crazy. But anyways, let's get started with these. First one, I pulled this out of a package at some point. I don't know why. I'm just going to talk while I unwrap because why not? Okay, it's a vintage book. The Two Mrs. Carrolls by Martin Vale. I bought this because I was watching The Two Mrs. Carrolls with Humphrey Bogart and Barbara Stanwyck, and it's always been one of my favorite movies. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. If you haven't, you've got to watch it. It's spectacular. Bogey is a bad guy in this movie, but he's pretty spectacular. He's an artist who is also a homicidal maniac, and he has a tendency to paint his wives and then murder them. So this is actually in play form. Apparently the movie was based on a play. So it's a play in 3 acts and published in 1936, printed in Great Britain. So there we go. It's a great thriller actually, and the movie is awesome. I'll let you know how the book is if you're at all interested. You might not be interested at all, and you couldn't care less. But it's all right. That's number 1. Okay, book number 2. Yeah, hopefully you guys have stayed happy and healthy. I was in New Zealand for most of 2019 and most of 2020, working. Very little COVID there, which was great, but no good being away from home that long. A couple of really cool used bookstores out there. I'll come to that in what will be, I think, Haul 5, which will be the books that I bought while I was out in New Zealand at a couple of great used bookstores. All right, so this one, I can't really open anything without a knife, I guess. How about you guys? Have you been ordering a lot from home during the pandemic? I mean, what else are you going to do, right? Oh, so Another awesome vintage book. This is 13 Women by Tiffany Thayer. 13 Women by Tiffany Thayer, and printed by Old Wine Press. Old Wine, look at that, it's amazing. So, it's just the receipt. Wow, apparently this even has some illustrations. It was illustrated by David Berger. Published in 1948, and it's got, oh wow, it has some spectacular illustrations in it. I like the dedication, though. The dedication reads, "To Pops, for whom the moral will be clear." That doesn't bode well. A similar deal to the two Mrs. Carrolls in that I had recently been made aware of a classic thriller called 13 Women, which stars Myrna Loy. And I bought that and watched it recently, and it's pretty bizarre, but was equally anxious to read the book, because apparently it's, I don't know if it's the first, but it's one of the earlier examples of a woman who is a little bit off the rails and goes about murdering 13 other women for an injustice that was done to her back in school days. But again, the illustrations that are in this old book are pretty freaking cool. So I'm really excited about reading this. I think it'll be a really quick read. Wow, I don't think I can show this illustration. It's a little, I'm kind of shocked. It's a little bit racy. But anyways, 13 Women, so super excited about that. I highly recommend checking the movie out and probably picking the book up as well. Book 3. This, there may be shortages of toilet paper and other good stuff. There's no shortage of wrapping, apparently, because I've gone through one wrapping. There's the second. I appreciate all the wrapping. I mean, the books are showing up in beautiful condition, which is very nice. Now, I got to get through the bubble wrap. That one was easy, and then just a little bit of paper, which is good. Interesting. You know what's funny? I'm not even, I don't even necessarily, I guess I ordered this. I'm sure I did. So here we have The Prisoner of Heaven by Carrolls Ruiz, who sadly, as I'm sure you all know, passed away last year. He was one of my favorite authors, and I'm sure that there are innumerable videos on BookTube about him and his books, which I love. But it's funny that, so the reason that I bought this, since I've obviously already read it and already own it, is that when I was first exposed to this author and to The Shadow of the Wind, I just bought up a cheap paperback at I think LAX, and read it and loved it. And so over the years, bought his other books and started buying hardbacks and autographed hardbacks if I at all could, but then I had wanted to go back and purchase some of the books that I only owned as cheapo paperbacks that were falling apart. I wanted to buy them as hardbacks because I loved them that much. I've reread them, and I figured if I was going to do that, I might as well see if I can buy them signed. So this is signed. It was signed by Carrolls Ruiz, and it's the first U.S. edition, published in 2012. And so deckled edges on the book, which is very cool. So yeah, I look forward to rereading this and adding it to my collection. Yeah, so here you see, here's Prisoner of Heaven, same deal, which Yeah, which, like I said, even this one was just kind of a cheapo paperback that I picked up probably at an airport. And now it's cool. Now I can give this away to a friend or donate it, and hopefully expose somebody else to the writings of Carrolls Ruiz because he was just so amazing. And I'm so sorry that he's passed away. Prisoner of Heaven. All right. Next up, this one from Thrift Books, because I'm a cheap bastard, and if I can... You know, it's funny, I've always said that if I can buy books cheaply, I'm going to pause opening this for a second, only because I've always tried to buy books, with a few exceptions, as inexpensively as I possibly could. And I would say something has happened over the last couple of years, and maybe The Prisoner of Heaven and the other books by Carrolls Ruiz are emblematic of that, which is that there's been a shift in my buying toward better versions of the books that I love, or that I truly believe I think I'm going to love. If it's a one-off of something that is recommended, and it doesn't necessarily seem at face value like something I'm going to keep forever, I'll still pick up an inexpensive paperback, and it's all good. But if it's something that I know I love, or I truly believe I'm going to love, I'm shelling out the dough for a hardback and you know, if I can, and a first edition if I can, and maybe it's signed if possible. And I've written, or I've begun to write a little bit of an article or an essay that no one will ever read, by the way. I don't know why I'm writing it, but that kind of explores my thinking about our library, and just how I perceive it, and how I think about it, and how I want to see it evolve over the years. So all of that said, another book from Thrift Books, you know, because, like I said, you can't take the penny pincher out of the guy, I guess. I don't know. So this is, all right. So here's an interesting book, The Supernatural Enhancements by Edgar Cantero, and I don't know if I haven't read a lot about this. I don't know if you guys have read this or not. If you have, let me know what you thought. This is supposed to be interesting, and it's basically a kind of a haunted house story. That's how I understand it, and it appeared on a few different lists of haunted house books that you should read, or I should read, somebody should read, and so I had looked for it for a while, and had seen different little paperbacks, but I wanted to pick up a hardback version, and I found one clearly cheap enough at Thrift Books to satisfy the cheap bastard that I am. So super cool. All right, only 2 left, luckily for you. Not so lucky though, because there's only 2 left, but this package has 2 books in it. What's this one from? Your Online Bookstore. That's what this one's from. Packaging. See, it's so funny. I was just complaining about, it's packaged, and there's packing, and then another packing, and then bubble wrap and paper. Somebody threw these 2 books into a garbage bag and shoved them in the mail. So fair enough. I don't know, but and look, it's ripped. Yeah, I mean, it's already ripped. How could it not get ripped? It's a garbage bag, but that's okay. Let's open it up and see what it is. So far, pretty good. We got a haunted house story, 2 vintage thrillers, and a contemporary thriller. That's a pretty good haul. That's a good day in my book. Bad pun. So I lied, 2 garbage bags, which, that's better than 1, right? Better than 1. can't even open a garbage bag. I don't know what's going on here, but wow, there are 3 books in here. Yeah, there are 3 books in here. All right. Oh, very cool. I'm very excited. Yeah, very excited. Okay, first, this is The Life and Times of Cicero. And I've been trying to read more classics and more classic philosophy, which, you know, if you truly want to just be bored to tears, I can get into at some point. But yeah, this translation is by Anthony Everett, and Cicero wasn't so much a philosopher as he was a politician of ancient Rome, but a very philosophical one and a brilliant one. He squared off against Caesar and was friends with young Brutus. He advised the legendary Pompey on his botched transition from military hero to politician. He lambasted Mark Antony and was master of the smear campaign, as feared for his wit as he was for his ruthless disputations. So yeah, I've read little bits and pieces about Cicero over the years, but this was recommended to me as really getting into the man in a substantial way. So that should be interesting, and you know, very different from the other stuff. So a little something different. This one I think was very inexpensive, but I'm still glad I bought it. There's no book cover on it, although it looks like it may. I don't know if this was there's a sticker on the spine, if I can pull it. Okay. Monsignor Kyoti by Greene. So Greene is a fantastic author. I don't know if you guys have read any of his stuff or not. I have only started to delve into him, but Our Man in Havana, which was the first book of his that I read, I really loved. It was great. For me, goes into the pile of Cicero, just something a little bit different. This, however, gets back to the good stuff. House of Windows by John Langdon. Same deal. I think I've mentioned John Langdon in some of my prior videos. Mr. Gaunt, which is a collection of short stories, all fantastic. The Fisherman was the first book of his that I read, and it's amazing. It's so good. And so I have slowly been trying to pick up his other books since having finished The Fisherman, and this is one of them. And so I can't remember the specifics. This is a library version, an ex-library copy, I should say, but that's okay. His books can be a little hard to find. I've never found any in any of my local used bookstores, not that there are a lot of them, but I haven't been able to find them, so I've had to resort to buying online. But these, you know, I think I lucked out. I finally found one that was not very expensive. So super exciting, and yeah, it's some kind of psychological ghost story. That's my understanding. I can just read to you a tiny bit. When a young writer finds himself cornered by a beautiful widow in the waning hours of a late-night cocktail party, he seeks at first to escape, to return to his wife and infant son, but the tale she weaves of her missing husband, a renowned English professor, and her lost stepson, a soldier killed on a battlefield on the other side of the world, and of a phantasmal vision, a family curse, and a house, the Belvedere House, a striking mansion whose features suggest a face hidden just out of view, draws him in. So, I don't know if this is any good or not, but I know that John Langdon is a very good writer, and so I'm excited about it. So, that's it. No more books today, but Book Haul Part 2 will be coming up. Look for it in the next few days. In the meantime, this is Jeff, the Bookhouse Boy. Thanks you guys for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.